The Game Show announced along the big Summer Warhammer preview show, the 18 July 2025, the future releasing about its various trademarks. So we can find a lot of different things about the Old-World, about Sigmar, which has seen some spoiler about in the Warhammer community, and about Warhammer 40k, the Horus Heresy, the Legion Imperialis. So quite a lot of things to pay attention. If you're interested about, I'll leave you the link in the description about the main article where you can find all the contestation about the links, and go to see then eventually the article that you're interested in. So if you want, for example, to see better about the images and so on, and have a better site, or you're curious about some detail, really quite interesting one. So let's go to see about this video and the announcement, because I'm really quite excited. So let's start with the Warhammer 40k with the new Codex League of Votann. Here has been brought also new miniatures that are really quite intriguing. So we can start with Buri Anderson. This is a name charter, a special charter that it's the last survivor of a League of Votann that has seen all its, I can say, brothers and so on, devoured by the High Fleet Leviathan. So it's really quite intriguing to know how it's developed. You can see from the mount itself that it's about 39, so it's really quite nice. Also, as idea, I quite appreciate. Then we had the Arcanist Evaluator. Here, it's a charter that shoot, but it's really quite interesting. Sincerely, I prefer more the one with the helmet, but also the head, it's not bad at all in my opinion, so it's quite interesting. Then we had the Man-Min Strategist. Okay, I admit that this it's quite peculiar and not bad at all, sincerely, so it's something that nice. They had the new Iron Skin Steel Jacks. Here technically are a sort of heavy, I can say, unit for the League of Votann. I don't know if it's really necessary, but they're not bad. They are similar, a sort of Terminator armor, really, because they could hit the vibe. Then we have these that are the Cronian Earth Shakers. Here are technically a sort of mortars, so it's something that shoot from the distance and so on. Okay, it's a sort of Imperial Guard. Then we have the Capricus, that is a new vehicle that can be a vehicle to transport or a mobile shooting one, so a sort of land speeder. Okay, not bad. And then we have the new Codex League of Votann. Sincerely, I quite appreciated the design of this Codex as the cover. It's quite intriguing in my opinion. And I've had the new combat battle. Here you have to pay attention about the contents, because we have the combat battle. It's the Ben Slayer Bulwark, and it has a Heron champion that costs 34 euros, 5 Iron Earth Guard, it's 51.25 euros, 3 Brockier Thunderkin, that is 47.50 euros, and 10 Earthkin Warriors, that is 47.50 euros. So it's as total, based on the price on you when I'm registering this video, it's about 180.25 euros. So it's quite nice. I'm quite curious to see about the price, because if it will cost about 120 euros about, and if you calculate about a discount that bring this under 100 euros, could be quite interesting, because it means that you could save half the money eventually. So not bad. I think that all the units are quite intriguing to use, so it's quite interesting. So let's continue. And then we had the Old-World. Here we had to pay attention, because we had two announcements. We had the second part of the Tom Kings and the second part of the Cathai. So here we can find the Royal Hearts, and sincerely they are really quite amazing as models. I really quite appreciate them. And then about the Lich Priest, really quite intriguing. You can see that the Horse, it's not bad at all, but they refine quite a lot about the miniature themselves, really quite intriguing. And then there is also the second Archangel, that it's War of Setras Fury. Sincerely, I yet bought the previous one, even if I have not prepared the video, but I think that I'll buy also these ones, because the background, and because I'm quite interested about to see how it's developed. And it's really something that it's intriguing in my opinion, and I'm quite curious to see. And the cover, it's fantastic, even though only for the cover I buy it. And then we had the second of the Cathai. So another Arcane Journal that it's about the Cathai. It's a continuation, so it's not something that it's going to expand because that's been released the update of the Old-World. No, this it's the second part. And anticipate too, with this, there should be going to be released also the miniatures that has not been released with the first wave. So technically, the dragon and other things. So I'm quite interested. Sincerely, I buy both the Arcane Journal because I'm quite interested. I yet bought also the first about the Cathai, but I'm really quite intrigued. These are two armies. The Khemri I can play. The Cathai I'm really quite curious about. So I'm really fascinated about. So okay, I know that I had to spend a lot of money about reading, but I'm quite satisfied about, so not bad at all. And then we move to Age of Sigmar. Here we had the announcement of two new armies for the Death faction. The Nighthaunt, that we have yet known that it's going to be released, and the FleshEater course. So that detail about the Ruined Wing and so on, I was right to say that it was the FleshEater course. So I'm really quite satisfied, and okay, so maybe soon for December we see also the Ostrabo Reaper, so we end all the armies about the Death will be quite nice in my opinion. So we move to see about the Battletome FleshEater course with this new artwork that it's quite nice in my opinion. It's quite intriguing, I quite like. Then we can find the new miniature that it's going to be released with this, that it's this Eye Fagonin Felin, that it's not bad. I don't understand completely because the bats are fantastic. Moreover, the single one, it's fantastic because it's like a sort of mini Vargulf, so not bad at all. About it itself, not bad. It's sort of hunter, okay. I'm quite perplexed because I'm fascinated by it, but at the same time, adapting a bit, but not bad. And I've had the channel watch that it's the new spearhead that it's going to be released. Here it's contain the Abhorrent Gorewarden that it's 35 euros, 2 units of free Crypt Flyers and Crypt Horus for 47.50 euros each. Remember that you can interchange how you want to build them up. Eventually, I leave you in the description the link about my video about how to monetize them so that you can make that you can have both of them based on what you need. And then a unit of Royal Beast Players that it's another 47.50 euros for a total of 177.50 euros. Here it's still quite interesting, sincerely, because, for example, in my case, the Royal Beast Players I don't have yet, so I'm quite interested eventually. The Crypt Flyers and Crypt Horus are always welcome, they are never enough. And the Abhorrent Gorewarden, I have one because I bought the army set of the previous edition about the FleshEater course, but at the same time it's always quite nice because you can modify and so on. Or anyway, have a second one and it's not bad at all. So okay, and moreover, if you think that it should be costing about 100 euros, eventually discounted, could be quite interesting to save quite a lot of money and have something that could be quite intriguing, because I don't think that there is something that you don't really need at all. Maybe the Gorewarden, but even that could be quite used without any problem. Then we have the Battletome Nighthaunt with this splendid cover, and it's really quite amazing. It has been confirmed that they keep the glyphs, so the ones that has been released about those tomes that are called the ones from the Subride Guild one. So okay. Then there will be also a new character that it's this Lord Vitriolic that okay, nice. It's a Spectral Alchemist. It recalls me something that I've seen about, it recalls me a lot about something that I've seen about Nargol. So I don't understand. Okay, but not okay. Essentially, this I'd modify in some way because I like, but I prefer to personalize quite a lot. And then we have the Cursed Shek Horde, that it's the spearhead about the Nighthaunt. Here maybe it's the less convenient one, because here we have the content, the Spirit Torment and 2 Chingas that are sold together that are 35 euros, 10 Dreadshite Harridans that are 44 euros, 10 Blackguest Revenant that are 44 euros again, and 2 Dreadblade Harrows that are 22.50 euros. So, okay, the total is 145.50 euros. So, not bad, but even if you think about having some discount, you don't save quite a lot. So, even if a unit of this you are not interested about, it's something that it's not so great. Really, this much depends about how much it will cost. Because if you think about having, for example, the total about discounted about 90 euros maybe, you could still say that okay, it's convenient because anyway I save at least one unit as price. But the problem is if you don't use the one of those units, you don't save quite a lot. You even spend more, so it's not the best. Okay, are all units that you can use without any problem, so you can save quite a lot, but at the same time it's not the best about the saving for the Nighthaunt. So a bit adapting about this, but not bad. So I'm really quite curious to see when they will be released, because for sure I'll buy both the Battletome, and I'm quite curious because I think that they will do as they've done for the part about the release of the Blades of Khorne and the current Overlord that has been released almost simultaneously. So, okay, sincerely, I'm quite curious. And I hope that this sign the fact that soon we see also the Ossebo Reapers, at least the announcement or so on, and maybe some new miniatures, something new, because I'm really quite interested about. Moreover, because the Ossebo Reaper has not seen anything new since quite a lot of time, other than the Mortison Factor. Maybe the unit about the shooting Mortex could be nice. Anyway, I'm really quite in hype, and for sure I buy both the Battletome because I know that I quite like. And if you add to the Arcan, a lot of money that is going out, but nice. And again, for Age of Sigmar, the Chaos Dwarves, really, I'm quite intrigued and quite excited about this because it's a new army and it's something that you have not seen since Old-Wolrd, really. And it's really quite amazing because we had only armies about this, or in the oldest version of Chaos Dwarves, of the Warhammer Fantasy itself, or in the Tamurken that it was problematic to have and so on, so, and quite expensive book. So it's really quite interesting because they arrive in Age of Sigmar. Sincerely, when I seen some preview in the Warhammer community for this army, because you understood with the heads that it was referred that they were the cast dwarves. Sincerely, I thought that it was related about the Old-Wolrd because it was more suited than about the Age of Sigmar. Still, I'm really quite glad to have been wrong because I really quite appreciate such thing. And really, there are tons of things. It's a new army and it's really quite amazing. So let's see about this one. Here you can find the armies that it has. So it has all new models, obviously. So the chaplain, the elite units, the golem, and also the, I can say, artillery armor, so not bad, and also the Thanatic Cove and so on. So it's really quite nice. I'll not buy, I think, the army book here, the army set, because I had to admit there are too much expenses quite soon, because we had the Battletome of the Death 2, we had the Arcanjunus 2 ones that had to buy the Khemri, and the one about the Cathai, so too much, okay? But for sure I buy this Battletome, even only to read and know about such army, because I think that it's quite amazing. Here we have so the champion, the leader. It's really quite nice, I quite like. And one thing, see about the helmets, because all the hats are one different from another, so amazing one. I really quite appreciate, really. And as you can see here, we can see the models and they are fantastic in my opinion. They are really quite intriguing. You can see also that they have these numbers eventually as a sort of lace and so on, so it's quite intriguing. I quite like such type of unit. Not bad. I'm really quite curious to know if there will be some clans and so on about. I'm quite curious about the background about such army in Age of Sigmar. and how they arrived in Age of Sigmar. Here we can see also the artillery, and as you can see, you can personalize in a lot of ways, from a cannon to a missile launcher. Okay, and again, see the helmets, that the heads that are all different ones, and then we have this okay, Dominator engine. It's a iron golem. Okay, it's simply amazing. Wow, really. Here you could think that it's something that could be about the Scouring, but it's wonderful. Wow, really, this is something that could make me shake quite a lot. And you can also have different options, so quite nice, really. And now here we have the alternative cover that it's in the army set, about that it's with this column, and not bad at all. It's really quite amazing. I admit that I should really quite be tempted about such book that it's with a special cover, but I'll not buy this, okay, because it's only in that one. And then we can find about this that it's a sorcerer and so on. It's really quite intriguing. Really, I think it's amazing about this. Quite nice. Also, this, see, this is a forger. It's a blacksmith. It's again fantastic. Also, the boost centaur once, and okay, there are tons of ignorance here, but they're amazing. They quite recall the old ones, but they is made new in a really clean way. I quite appreciate. And another way to have the centaurs. So, wow, I'm really quite satisfied with such armies. Here, wow, nice. They're really quite amazing. Okay, see about this shooting unit. Again, different helmets, different hats for each ones. Wow, fantastic. They're really quite amazing ones. Also see about this. Okay, Grots, armed Grots in a sort of civilian way. They're dressed. It's really quite amazing. Okay, strange, but nice. And here, on Iron Manticore, really, what you can have better than this? It's fantastic. A bull with wings, a metal bull with metal wings. I'm really quite happy. Wow. Luckily, I don't start this army, luckily, but it's really quite tempting. See also about this. The details are really fantastic. And you can really personalize the way that you can paint this. It's quite intriguing. And then the normal version about the Battletome. Okay, I'll buy this. I know that there will be too much to buy, but this I think that I have to buy, because it's the first one that has been released about such army that missed since a lot of years, and I never had something about. So like I bought, and I'll buy too, the part about the Cathai for the Old-Wolrd. I have to buy about this. I'll not buy anything else, but sincerely it's worth. So quite amazing. I really quite like, and has been really this amazing. I'm really glad I had to reread this article multiple times only to watch the images and see the details about the miniatures. Because even if I'm not going to buy the miniatures, I really was quite curious about. Okay, amazing. I'm really quite excited, and I hope to transmit you the idea, because wow. And we can remain about Age of Sigmar with the new expansion about Underworld, and it's really quite interesting. I'm not interested about the Underworld itself, but about the miniatures that are associated about this expansion, that is SpiteWood. It's really quite amazing. So let's see, first of all, the box, that it's the expansion set, and we can find that it's a little about the Sylvanet and the new cast Dwarves. So it's really quite interesting, because it's adding models to faction that it yet exists, and to one that has been released, so you have even more models to choose from. I quite appreciate such options. So here we can see the board with everything about the markers and so on, and here the new centaurs about the Horus Heralds. It's really quite amazing. So let's see them better, and they are really fantastic, dynamic. They are really wow. GW, it's making quite a lot of progress about the sculpting, moreover about centaurs, because we've seen tons of centaurs lately. So we have the centaurs about the Osteoporipus, we had the centaurs about the Caustaus, and here now this one. So not bad at all, quite interesting, and they are all amazing, fantastic. Really, maybe the center one it's the worst, but the worst because the other two are even more beautiful. So really amazing ones. And then we have the part about the blood of the cool. Okay, but anyway, they are about the Cassas, and not bad at all. We can see them, so we can see another one that could be technically a leader. So it's fantastic, and also the other models are something that it's wonderful because you could use them, for example, champions for the other units that you bought if you buy the army set and so on. So quite intriguing, in my opinion. They are not bad at all, quite amazing. Here we have so the board that it showed. Okay, if you're interested, it's good, the cards. But what I'm most interested about is the list of the boxes about the various factions. As we've seen last year, that has been in November, the release about the various factions, and I bought the one about the death. Here are again for all those ones other. And believe me, I bought the other one because I was interested about at least one of the units that was missing in my collection. But this time I bought for sure because they are all the mutants that I was missing about Underworld and I wanted, but they were mixed and so on. So okay, so we have about the order with these that are about the Storm Casetanas that signed to Seeker. Here we can see the one about the part of the Doctors okay, so okay, they're not bad at all, they're really fantastic. The Seraphim, I never liked too much about this, but anyway, if you want to buy, it's fantastic, because anyway, the Shinks are amazing. We had the one that could be a Shaman or the Priest. We had the, like I said, the Saurus Lord that I don't find it the best, okay, but anyway, not bad. The Chameleon and one that could be technically without any problem Shift Chink, and two ones that are normal Shinks, but could be quite amazing. Then we had the part about them differing with the crab. The crab is the most important thing here. Okay, amazing one. Really, these are something that it's not bad to see. And then we had the one about the chaos. So we had the part about the Scaven that are always amazing. These models are simply dynamic, fantastic. The assassins are wonderful. I love them. Then we had this that are about the chaos. Okay, so not bad in my opinion. Then we had this that it's about Slaanesh. The models are fantastic. I always quite perplexed about the, like I said, the fat one, but they are really quite wonderful. And the one about Nargo that are simply amazing. Okay, Nargo, it's really quite easy to make it fantastic as Miniatures. And then we had the one that it's most interested about, so the death. So we had the Throne of the Bright Queen that I always wanted but never had. Then the part about the Sons of Vermont. This I wanted since a lot, because I wanted to use the Vernon itself as my Viking, so it's fantastic. And the other four models are simply wow. They are really fantastic to personalize your armies to have. Okay, also, for example, the one with the Great Rule could be another Viking. But anyway, you have quite a lot of ways to make champions and so on. And they are perfect to be played as these as they are, or to simply integrate in your army. I think that they are amazing. I wanted this since a lot of time, but they were in a box that had also other parts that was not interesting. So here I can have everything, so quite interesting. Then we had the Exiled Dead with the Necromancer that is fantastic, and other zombies. This maybe it's the one that it's okay, not so great, but at the same time it's something that I quite appreciate, really. And then about the FleshEater Kurz, and remember that the FleshEater Kurz, we have seen that it's going to be receiving also a new Battletome. And having this, it's not bad, because anyway, you have quite a lot of interesting goods that could be really played in a lot of ways, because you have one that could be used as the Butcher, so the one that it's a model eventually that you can play, eventually you can modify a little. The one with the wings could be played as eventually and it is effectively one of the abhorrent ghouls. So it's not bad in my opinion. It's really quite interesting, and combined with the previous one, you can make quite a lot of nice things. Because if you think about this, for example, of the Nighthaunt added with the previous one, you have quite a lot of variety for your heroes and so on. And if you see about instead the part of the FleshEater cults, you can have quite a lot of variety and create almost a unit of all diverse type of models, and eventually you can really personalize a lot of units. So I quite appreciate, and this it's make that this it's really quite a great release. Here we have about the destruction. So with here the part about the growths. Okay, it's about the trolls in here. Then had this that it's about the hobgoblins. It's not bad. Here about the one of the ogre. So nice. I quite like this hunter. It's always amazing. And then the one about the new growths. Okay, so that we can have the goblins on the walls that seriously they lose quite a lot because that's been list also the unit complete about. But anyway, they are not bad models. Maybe this of the discussion is the one that make me less excited about, because I think that the other ones are more interested about the models. Still, I think that it's quite nice, maybe because there is a flying squig. So it's really quite nice. Obviously, there is also the part about the cards, okay, so that you can play them updated. So this, it can be simple, but even myself, that I'm not interested about Underworld, I'm interested about the miniatures related about Underworld. So the box itself, SpiteWood, I think that it's quite amazing because are all new models, one of the new faction, another one that it's amazing as design, and the reprint of units that were missing since a lot of time. I think that it's quite intriguing. Moreover, because are sets, so you buy all of those ones. And if you think about what has been for the previous box, you can save quite a lot of money. Because, for example, the last time it was 80 euros for the box. I spent, for example, 60 euros for with the discount. And I had the units that I needed because I wanted a simple unit, the one about the Reapers, but also the other ones were welcome because the Crimson Court were fantastic to have a double, and the other two were something that I could modify or could be integrated in my army, so not a problem. And it was for each faction 15 euros at the end. And even if you raise a bit of price, I hope that it will not be such. About this, if you're interested, could be quite nice. Sincerely, about, for example, this release, I'm testing about all the faction. Okay, about the Nighthaunt, not so much, but it's quite intriguing because our model, at least the Bride of the Queen, that I always wanted, so nice. The Vermont ones are skeleton that I always desired, so I'm quite excited. And about the other two factions, sincerely, welcome, because it's something that I always desired anyway to buy, but not so, I can say, captivated by them. So really amazing. So quite a great releasing about also Underworld, because I like that they are reselling about these ones, because for example I lost some of the selling and I can take them back, so nice. And I move to the future, so Legion Imperialis. And here it's really quite interesting because I've been brought new models. So for example, this Mastodon Super Heavy Assault Transport. I admit that this, it's really quite interesting to have models that otherwise you never see in Horus Heresy or Warhammer 40k, but are quietly available here, or save quite a lot of money. Because for example, I want to buy in the future my Thunderhawks, so to have at least some, and these are the perfect way, so that I have small models, but at the same time have models that I always desired, but were too expensive or too difficult to build, for example the Thunderhawk itself. So it's really quite appreciated in my opinion. Then we have these Whirlwind and Scorpion tank ones, so it's quite intriguing to have, so the Whirlwind and the Vindicators, so it's quite intriguing about them, and really are models that I quite appreciate, even if I'd like to have this system or launcher for the Whirlwind itself. And then we have these that are the Cerberus tank destroyers cannons ones, so technically are raiders with a demolition cannon on, okay. And really, it's quite intriguing. Then we had this Liber Strategia that it's at the end the update of the Legionis Imperialis. It's that one because it has this new unit, but also other ones and the updated profiles. I think that it's quite intriguing for the ones that play. Sincerely, these I not buy. Then we have the various about the formation and datasheet cards. Okay, if you're interested about playing these, could be interesting. And the one that are related about the Liber that we've seen. About the order tokens, objective markers. Sincerely, it's quite interesting, but it's better to do by yourself. These ones, okay. So it's quite intriguing, because anyway, I like how this Legionis Imperialis it's going on. So that brings tons of models that you can play. Moreover, if you want to have armies, big armies, because you want to have, for example, the Titans and so on, and you don't have enough space or so on to keep these big models, in these ways you are able to have them. And about vehicles and so on, I think that this it's a good way to play, because you can have really massive wars on the battlefield without having too much bigger tables to play with. So really quite interested. And then we had the Warhammer Horus Heresy, and here we can find the updated part of Rus and models with the new MK2 Assault Squad. Sincerely, I'm not quite crazy about these ones, because okay, they're nice, but are MK2 armors with a jetpack that it's almost the same that we've seen in the MK3 Assault Squad. So sincerely, I magnetize and bring the ones. Okay, they're not bad, sincerely, but at the same time, it's not something that make me desire to have to buy them. I want to have them, but okay, at least for completion, it's not bad. They're quite nice as models. Maybe the colors, I don't know, they don't kept keeping me quite intriguing. Then we had the second of the journals that it's like okay, it's about the Forge of Saturn. So nice, I not buy for sure, but nice. And brings also updated part and so on. We have also the part about the Arcane upgrade for the Thousand Sons. So we have here these that are the Terminators Saturnine that are fantastic. Maybe it's going to be released these models separately, and I hope that there will be also the Dreadnought Sud separately, the Dreadnought Obvious Saturnine one, because they are fantastic models. I have not bought the third edition box of the Horus Heresy, even if I bought the first and the second, but okay, they are quite nice, and so quite welcome. I'm not quite a fan of Horus Heresy. I like the models, okay, but sincerely, not to buy everything about them. And I've had the Black Library with another volume related about the Siege of Terra, or better, the aftermath of the Siege of Terra, so the Scouring. You have to notice that this one is quite interesting, because it's going out after the previous year has been released the first of the End and the Death. Here in July is going to be released the second volume, and in October it will be released the third volume of the saga about the assault of the ship of Horus and the various happening that has been done there. So I'm buying them. Okay, still this is what happened after, and it's really quite interesting that way. So it's something that if you want to complete a sort of progression, maybe it could be nice. Sincerely, here I'm more interested about what happened on the Horus Navy, and here I think if by these ones, but nice, I like, because it showed that it's progressing quite good, the part about the background, and I'm really quite satisfied, because eventually I can always buy them later eventually about these books, but quite intriguing. Even if I hope that there will be some chronicles eventually about the books of this Horus Heresy Siege of Terra, because they are amazing, but a bit too expensive, so a bit compressed, sold ones, because in other languages, for example German or French, has been listed the collect part of so the omnibus about the Horus Heresy, and I hope to see also about these ones in English. Okay, so nice, quite a good news. And then we have about Warhammer 40k with something about Minotaurs and new combat pattern related about the Space Marines. Maybe because there's been too much related about the heretical Space Marines, because they had to make they release about all the faction about the heretic part. Anyway, now we had the champions of the first founding, so the heroes about the chapter, for example, about the salamanders we have Vulcan Estan, then we have about the Imperial Fist Darnot Lysander. Okay, sincerely I not need a new miniature about this, but nice. And anyway, I prefer with the helmet. With the head, it's quite awful in my opinion. Then about the Raven Guard with Eton Shan, that is the new chapter master of the Raven Guard. So quite intriguing, and this one it has an amazing head, both with the I can say the cloak or without, and really quite interesting because it's new background. It's really an update about. So I'm quite curious to see about what will be the development of this one, because Sheikh has give him the control about the chapter. So quite intriguing. Then about the harness with Kanok War. Okay, sincerely, it's not something that make me scream, okay, it's amazing, maybe because it's black. But not bad as miniature. Then but the white scar with Zudekan Khan. Okay, I like because the bike is a jet bike that is from the Wh40k. Okay, it's nice. The miniature it's standard one. Okay, it's at least dynamic, but it's not me going crazy. And then we had the new combat patterns that are available. So about the salamanders, sincerely I would have think something more about flames or thermics ones, but okay. So the RTV it's okay, but it's not giving me quite a good vibe. Well, then the part about the Imperial Fist, quite a lot of Terminators. Okay, it's nice, but it doesn't keep me. The one about the Raven Guard, okay, nice, quite an invitation one. It's quite intriguing. I could use this technically also for the Blood Dance without any problem, because it is quite nice. Then we have this that it's about the Iron Hands. Sincerely, the platform 2 of this, okay, if you need the platforms and you need the Tech Marine, here maybe it's the best deal. Otherwise, okay. The one that I think it's the most balanced is the one that is about the Westcard scores. Here we have the special miniature, we have the Outriders, we have the Impulsor, and then we have also an Enormous Code. Then, okay, not bad. I think that is the best one about the Westcard, sincerely. So we can see that they are giving a sort of, okay, candy. Okay, you see, we have not forget about the Space Marines. They are here. It's not a problem. Sincerely, they should be with some supplement or so on. But at least you have some charters and combat pattern that could be quite a good deal when you need a lot of models saving money. And then we have again about Warhammer 40k, but a bit peculiar, because we have about the JoyToy, the helmet about Lieutenant Titus for the Space Marine 2. And it's wearable. It's really wearable. So quite intriguing. And it has also the effect about the lights. You can see that it's wearable. It's a strange one, but okay. You can pre-order it and so on. Sincerely, it's a bit costly, I advise you. Not so much as I could have thought, because with the part of the t-shirt and so on, it's anyway about 130 euros. So, okay, okay. I not buy for sure, but it's strange. If you want, you can really have something like fun. Okay. Wow, it's peculiar, I think, but nice. It's really something intriguing to see the third parties having official license from Games Workshop releasing something like this, because it's nice. And lastly, again about Warhammer 40k, the Killt Tean. So we had the Deathwatch against the Necrons. So let's see. Sincerely, I'm not interested about Killt Tean itself, but here there are quite a lot of intriguing parts, because you have the models of the deathguard that sincerely they are really quite nice and not quite a lot of fun of this. I prefer the other ones, sincerely, but The thing that maybe it's best, it's about the hats that are more variation about. Okay, sincerely, something to keep note about these ones, but it's not the part I'm interested. What I'm most interested about is the part about the necklace with the Geomancer, that it's amazing one. I quite like. At the end, it's equipped with the tail, okay, of the Scorpex. Then we had this, that it's the part about the animator that we have seen, because it was in the box, and the accelerator. So we have quite intriguing part. And then we had the Tom Clovers. Here are really quite nice. It's something strange anyway. It's a combination of different models that are rearranged and so on. And then we have these warriors that are nice, are a sort of bees, Necron bees, or wasps. It's intriguing. I like more about the Geomancer anyway. And then we have the part about the Shanks here, that it's really quite interesting because I like really quite a lot the design. I think that even if you don't buy, you could copy eventually the design for your wars or so on. Could be really quite intriguing. So, okay, you had then the book with the various markers and so on. Here, Sicily is the thing that it's the less interesting of all this event, but anyway, it has cute models for the ones that appreciate. And if you like Killt Tean, maybe you can be interested because a lot of people were saying that okay, Killt Tean is dying, they are not having any new release and so on. Here you see, it's still alive. At least for now, it's still alive. Maybe less publications, but still alive. So to say about such event, I think that it's amazing, really. It's something that brings quite a lot of news. There's been 11 announcements, even if the Tatus helmet, technically, it's not something completely about GW, because it's about JoyToy. Still, you can be satisfied, because there's been part about the Old-Wolrd, the part about the Horus Heresy, the Age of Sigmar, quite massive, really, because even the part that it's about Underworld, you could associate without any problem to Age of Sigmar itself, and I'm quite glad also about the reselling of the older bands, so really quite intriguing, and really something that it's amazing. The only thing that I think that it's super, it's about the top world of Killt Tean, that anyway has positive vibes anyway, but at the same time it's the one that I'm less interested about, even less than the part about the Black Rabbit, that anyway I find it interesting because it's a new background that it's quite welcome. So we can see that there is for everyone, really. It's quite full of news. Even if you don't play really that thing, anyway, you could be interested in something related at least to a mile and so on. So nice. But I'm curious to know about your opinion, because for example, by myself, I spent tons of money because I had to buy the Battletomes for the Nighthaunt, FleshEater, Kurz, and the Chaos Dust. Had to buy the part about the Arcanjunas. So okay, quite a lot of money, really. And also the part about the Underworld, because I had to buy the part about the death releasing. Oh, it will be the year that I thought to spend less and I had to spend more. Okay, it's really quite crazy about, but it's fun. But I'm quite curious about what could your site, your money. So what do you say? Shut up and take my money, because I'm curious about to know if you are messed up like myself about such things. So I'm quite curious. Anyway, from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.